Okay. So we're going to look at AWS. Then we're going to give just do a practice using some of their services. Now, what we're going to do will be in different stages. Now, in the first stage, we're just going to do an upload. We're going to move from ingestion and down to serving. We'll skip the transformation for the first part. We'll skip the transformation for the first part. So we'll ingest using let me open all of this so network does not start. So in the first stage, we're going to move from S3 to Athena. Now the services we're going to use here are, we'll use an S3. S3 is the storage, the key storage for AWS. Then we're going to use Athena to query the data on the storage, the data in S3. Then after that, we are going to introduce some transformations. We'll do some transformations on the data, and we'll use Glue for that transformation. And after doing that transformation, we're going to introduce the use of event triggers to automate the Glue transformation job. So first off, let me see, where is that? Did I open it? Okay. So this is the summary of the data sets that we're going to work with. It has six, I think, one, two, three, four. Okay, it has 6 columns. We have sales ID. We have sales ID, first name, last name, product, quantity, and price. So this is like the data sets we're going to work with. Now, this is a S3 interface. So this is our S3 bucket. This is our bucket. So first of all, to use, we'll need to create a bucket first of all to hold objects. Now, S3 bucket is similar to folder in our system, while the contents of the S3 bucket is similar to files being placed in a folder. So anything we need to do, we'll have to create a bucket first of all, and the bucket's name has to be unique. So what do we give it? Okay, it's a sales data set. Let's say okay, sales, let's see, sales demo buckets. Let's see if this is available. I don't think. Okay, now after the name, every other thing can be left as is. Then we create buckets. Let's okay. I know it won't be the same. Let's just change this. Yes. Sales demo book. Let's try again. Looks like this is going. Is it? Okay, fine. Now this name is available. Now we've created this bucket. Next will be to upload files into our bucket. But before we start uploading, it's always best to, the way you organize your folders in your PC, the way you organize your files in your PC, same way you organize your files in your S3 bucket. So we're going to create another folder that will hold all data that is coming into this S3 bucket. We can call it, so we could call this the input bucket or raw, whichever name you choose to give it. But this input bucket would hold files that are coming into S3. Is that successful? Right. So this has been created. Okay, so this is our input folder. Now let's simply upload a file. I've already done. Let's upload the data set that we want to work with. Okay, so I'll first upload this. Then you click on upload. Okay, so the upload has been successful. So we have the sales 12 CSV file already in this bucket, our sales demo box and input folder. Next, we are going to open Athena, so that since we have succeeded in ingesting this data into S3, we'll open Athena so as to query it. Like I said, we are skipping the transformation for now. So we are going straight to serving from the ingestion. Now, I've opened Athena. Now I've opened the Athena service. So what we're going to do here now is we are going to link this bucket that we have created. We are going to link this folder to Athena so that it can easily get we can query that bucket, we can query that object directly in AWS Athena using, of course, only SQL. So to do that, under tables and views, we are going to impute our table source, which is from S3 bucket, the one that we just uploaded. So if we select that, we're going to create a table, and what table name are we going to give that now? Let me see. Okay, let's just say new sales. Okay, we can ignore the description. Then let's create a new database. Create a new database that would house our table, and we can name it let's see, sales. We could just give it that. Okay, well, let's say all sales database. Then next we'll have to select the input location. So this is where we get to link the CSV file to our Athena. So this is the bucket, sales demo bucket, and we'll have to select the folder. This time around, you're selecting the folder that contains the file that we want to query. And the folder is the input folder. We don't select the file itself, but rather the folder that contains the file. So we'll select inputs, table type, that can go. File is CSV. So we'll change this to CSV file. CSV file. The limiter is comma. That's correct. So we can move on. Then come to column details. Here we'll now state the properties of the table that we want to create. We can do it in two ways. First, we can add a column. We can do it individually. You write the column name and then the column type, or we can add everything at once. I prefer this adding in bulk because it's faster. So I'll just let me copy the name of this code. So I'll copy that. Okay, yes, do paste. So now I've pasted the column names of our table. Now after the first name, what's this? Okay. So how we bulk add columns is this. After the first column name, you add the column type. Now we have the sales ID and the column type is string. Add a comma. Now the next column name is first name. Then we add this data type, which is string. The next column name is last name. Then we add the string data type with a comma. The next is the product column. Product is string. Yes, product is string. Then we have the quantity column. Quantity is an integer. Then we have price column. Price is decimal, although all of them they're all integers. We'll add decimal for price. Then click on add, and it has given us all the columns that we specified from sales ID down to the end. So after that, okay, table prop. Okay, let's leave this. We'll see the value of that when we are done. So at the end we could just create the table. Is it successful? Right. Okay, so so it has created successfully, and we can see that it has under the tables here, it has appeared. The new sales table has appeared. So we can do an easy query just by coming here, these three dots, click on it, and then run a preview. So this gives us so with this, we've been able to query the table, the CSV file that is in S3. We've been able to query it on Athena. Now, why this is like this is because in our table properties, while we are creating a table, we did not ask, we did not omit the first column. We didn't omit the first row. That's why we have this here. There's a place where we're supposed to indicate that our first row is a header. Our first row is a header, so as to omit the first row, but that was not done. So we'll do it in the next, when we are creating the next table. So this is basically how we query data from data in S3 using Athena. So we can decide to, what do we do? Okay, we could get the sum of price per product and run any SQL query that we need here. Say, okay, let's just get product. What do we want again? Okay, sum. Let's say sum. sum of quantity as total quantity. Then we could also get some price, okay, as total price. Let's just leave this as is. Then doing our regular SQL query now on the CSV file, on the file in S3. So we're coming from, what's the name of our table? New sales table. From new sales, that's there already. So we group by product. The product is about 3 or 4, 5, can't remember. But let's just use a limit. Limit 5. I don't think it's that correct. So we could easily run this. Is that correct? Quantity, quantity, quantity price product. Okay, so we can see the, of course, this is column name, so this isn't a problem. You can always remove that. So we can see how to now run queries using from using data in S3 buckets and run them in Amazon Athena. So next, now we're going to introduce transformation. Now we're going to introduce the transformation stage. We are going to introduce transformation into what we have just done. We have just completed the ingestion and the seventh end. So we're going to look at the transformation. And for the transformation, we're going to use AWS Glue for that. Now, Glue helps us do complex transformations that has to do with changing the schema or the format of our data. So here we're going to be using the visual ETL. So we'll use the visual ETL because there you see clearly the kind of transformations that you are doing. So select visual ETL. Let's see. Okay. So this is now this is AWS Glue, and we're going to do some transformations on the data sets that we uploaded in S3. Now, here in this part of in this part here, we have sources, transforms, targets, and popular. Popular is just the popular transformation sources and the rest that most people use. But we're going to concern ourselves with sources, transforms, and targets. Now, sources here means the data source. Where is the data? Where is the data? Okay, so sources we're going to look at here tells us the question we're answering here is, where is the source of the data? Then under transforms gives us the various transformations that can be done on the data set. There are so many transformations here, and if what you want is not here, you can easily add a custom transformation from here. Then target gives us after the transformation, where do you want the data to be stored? So we're going to start from source. And for our source file, we have our source file already in S3. So here we're going to select Amazon S3 as our data source. Then next, for transformation. Now, looking at, let me see, where is that? So looking at this data set, the transformation I would just like us to do on this is we'll do okay, we're going to merge the first name and the last name columns. Then we'll drop both columns. Then we'll also derive a total column where we'll multiply, of course, quantity and price. And after that, we will also drop these two columns. So at the end of our transformation, we want to have a data set that has just the sales ID, products, the customer name, that's the full name of the customer, and then the total price, say total sales, that's the total sales of for each customer. So going back to our visual, that is the transformation that we want to do. So first, let me write this down. Okay. So first, our first transformation is to merge the full name, the first name, and the last name. So that transformation, we're going to search for the appropriate transformation that would help us do that. Let's see, what's the transformation? Okay, now which is concatenate. Concatenate is what will help us. We are going to use it to merge both the first name and the last name column. Now, after concatenating, we also want to multiply quantity and price columns. Okay, and that will be a derived column. Because we're deriving it, that's like produce a column using SQL expression or formula using other fields and constants. So we're going to derive the column using two fields by multiplying two fields. So that's the derived column. Then finally, we want to drop the four columns that we have used. So we are going to look for drop. Okay, drop fields. Drop fields. So these are the three stages of our transformation. Then after that, we will now look for the target. Now, at the end of after transformation, where do we want to store after transformation, where do we want to store our transformed data? We would also be using our S3 buckets for that storage. So we'll select S3 as the target. So now we would now have to now coming to our first, we have to work on these fields so that once the data is ingested from here, the transformation happens immediately. So coming from our source, we are going to link our source S3. The location is S3, yes. Then S3 URL. Browse S3. Now our source is from the input column, input folder. Yep, I think it is. Yes. So this is our source. What's next? Okay, data format is CSV. That has already been populated. And we need to confirm this, that we have a CSV. So we have a CSV here. So our source, we have finished with our source. Then next is the transformation. Now we want to concatenate columns. Now if we look at our workflow, what we want to do is, once it comes in, what it does next is to concatenate the columns. So we need to link from our source file to this first transformation stage, which is the column concatenation. So when we come here, under node parents, we select the data source, which is Amazon S3. Then next name of our concatenated column would be let's use full name. Then the columns. Okay, so the columns we want to concatenate are the first name and the last name. All right, after that, then spacer here means in between the two columns we are concatenating, what is going to be the separator? Of course, for a full name we use space, so we'll just put space there, and that's it for the concatenation column. Then next we are going to go for the derived transformation. Yes, the parent node is concatenating. After concatenating, next we are going to derive that column, and the name of the column we want to derive is total, because it's a combination. Let's say total sales. Okay. Then under expression, now how do we want this column to be derived? We say we want it to be quantity multiplied by price. So we'll simply type quantity multiplied by price. And that is the end of this column. So next we are going to drop the fields, the columns that we have already worked on. We are going to drop them, which are first name, last name, quantity, and price. So the node parent is the derived column. This is in order. Then we are going to drop the first name, last name, quantity, and price. Okay. So let me ask, can anyone cite, like, if you can, I think you can see my screen. Can anyone like tell me where we're likely going to have an error like this?
So you said where we are likely going to have an error.
Yes.
Okay. Have we done the aggregation already to like doing a group by?
No, we've done that. Yes, it's just a multiplication. It's a derived column. We've done that. But here, looking here, I just where we're likely going to get.
I don't know if it's
Can
my
you see?
network, but I can't see your screen anymore.
Really?
Okay, I can see it now. Okay, yes.
Can you see it now?
I can see it now. Yes, I can. Okay, so you are dropping the first name, last name.
Yeah, we've done all the aggregation. We've done everything we want to do. Now, before we drop the columns, we are going to get an error if we do this.
Okay.
And the error is actually there on the screen. I don't know if someone can point it out.
I don't know.
The error is here. You have not saved your job. Is it that you have not saved your job?
No. That one is, we'll save it later.
Did you name the new column for price and quantity? Did you name it?
Yes, I did. I think I named all of them, but you can still confirm. Yes, this is total sales named.
I think.
This is name,
But I can't
named.
see total sales when you get to your derived columns actually. No, the other one you dropped, is it not supposed to show the total sales? Or
No. This one is for concatenation. This is merging first name and last name.
okay.
So this is just the column name. Talking about here. Now,
Okay.
if we choose to drop it like this,
Yeah.
we are going to get an error in one of our columns.
Okay, just give me a moment. Let me look at things. First name.
I think he's not choosing the node prints. Is it the one?
The node.
So
Yes.
I want to ask you a question before we go on. A quick
Okay,
question.
please do.
Okay. Only what I need is it because they are strings or
I can't hear you clearly, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we're trying.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask is that in the derived column or concat this thing, yes, when the transformation,
This?
the derived column, yeah. You said
Okay.
they are meant to be two derived columns, right? Or you did just
I didn't hear you clearly.
can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
So I was asking for the derived columns.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they are meant to be derived columns. Am I right?
Are you referring to this?
Yes, the derived column tax easy job. So there were two derived, one for total sales and one for the contacts first name and last name. So,
I can't hear you clearly, but I
I
don't know.
think
Let me answer if my response does not answer your question, please just let me know. I'm thinking that you're asking this derived column, if that's the name also that would appear on the database, or is that it?
that's my question. My
Is that
question
your
is that
question? Okay.
no. My question is that you said there are meant to be derived columns. One is name and the last name. So there will be one that will contact first name and last name. So, there's another one for the total sales, which is for the multiple.
Yes. Yes.
Derived columns. Maybe I missed it also. I could only see the but I didn't see the one for concatenation.
Marvelous, please. I really can't hear you clearly.
Maybe you can just type the question on the chat.
Yeah,
Right?
could you type it, please? I can't hear your question. I can't hear you clearly, please.
Uncle Chiku, please, can you go back to that drop field? Let me see.
Okay.
So you were saying that by dropping this, so we are dropping 4 columns here, and you said if we continue by dropping all of these columns, it will throw an error.
Okay, yeah, something like that.
Okay, so I think the sheets, we are not merging like it's like one sheet that has all of these columns, right? Okay, so we are dropping first name, last name, and then quantity and price. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not seeing any issue here, but probably it's native uh,
Okay.
to then sales
Okay.
ID.
So no, don't worry. Thank you. So now, what I just realized is this. Now, quantity should be of what data type?
Oh, okay. Quantity should be integer.
And we are having string here.
Yes, price should be float.
Price should be of into
Float.
decimal. Let's put it at decimal. And we are
Okay.
having string here. So
Oh, okay.
what it means here is that
If we run the
right
aggregation,
from
it will fail.
exactly right from the input, it's seeing it as
A
string.
string.
Yes. So right from the source here, it's reading all our inputs as strings. So before we do any form of aggregation, if before we do anything, we need to correct
This the
the
data type.
data type. So before we start concatenating and removing anything, we need to change the data types. Okay, marvelous question has come in. He said is that in the derived column, I could only find total sales field. What of the full name, or did I miss it? Okay, okay. So we are doing two transformations here now, marvelous. Now, this transformation for concatenate columns is the one to concatenate uh first name and last name. So this one takes care of, the first one takes care of the full name. That's it takes care of merging the two fields, while the second one, being the derived column, takes care of multiplying quantity and price to give us the total sales column. So both are actually done differently from one step to the other. We are not merging it in one transformation stage like this. So it's from one stage to the other. So after the concatenation, we go to the derived. Now, from what we've just noticed, there is now need for us to work on change the data type first of all. And there we will have to go to transform to see. Okay, so we have change schema here to change field name, data types, drop fields, and the rest. So we'll include this in our transformation. And now this comes immediately after it reads, after the source will read the data set from the source file. Now after reading it, it changes the data types before performing the transformations. So we're going to place this in between S3 bucket and the concatenate column. So here we'll choose the node parent to be source file, which is S3. Then to change schema type, to change data type, okay, sales ID is string, everything is in order except quantity and price. So our quantity is integer, and then our price is decimal. And that takes care of that. Now, after changing our schema, then we can go start with concatenating and deriving our column. So we'll need to change the parent node for this, for our concatenation column. We need to change the parent node from S3 to, no, not derive, or change schema. So now we can see how our workflow is moving. Once data is read from S3, it changes the schema, concatenates the column, gives us the derived column, which is the total price, then drops the four columns that we need. Then after that, we need it to store. Now at the end of this, we need to store our data in Amazon S3. So here we will need to select the location where it will store it in S3. First off, we'll check the parent node. The parent node would be this drop fields, because after drop fields we store. So our parent node would be this. Our file format will continue with CSV. No, let's leave the compression type. Then so for our location, we need to put it in another S3 bucket. And okay, so we have just one folder here. Let's go and create another folder in demo S3. In our sales demo bucket, we'll create another folder where we are going to impute, this time around, the processed data. So we can call that processed. Create folder. Okay, fine. The folder has been created. Now back to our Glue job. We are going to select that folder. Process. So we're going to select this so that when data comes into our input, after transformation, it stores it in the processed folder. Okay, so this is our workflow, and everything here looks to be in order. Now there is there is something we have to do, which is, let me go into in job details. First of all, we'll have to give the job a name. So we're giving it sales, let's say sales job. Description is always optional. Then we need to create an IAM role. Now, what IAM role means is we are going to give this job now permission to access other services. Let's use the IAM console to create the IAM role. Okay, so here now what we're doing here is we're going to create a role for the Glue job so that it can easily access other services. Now our Glue job is in between one S3 bucket and another S3 bucket, because what it does is it takes data from one S3 bucket, transforms it, and stores it into another S3 bucket. Now, all of the services in AWS, they are independent. Now, for them to work closely, there is usually we give them roles and permissions to access other buckets to access other services. Now, for Glue to be able to access S3 buckets, we need to create a role for this Glue job and give it access to S3. If not, it would not be able to read the data from our S3 bucket, and it would not be able to store or write the data in our S3 bucket. So to create that role here, we use under IAM, that's Identity Access Management. We're going to create the role for our Glue job. Now, what service here is the use case? What service are we working at? We are working with Glue. So we select Glue service here. Allow Glue. Yes. Next. Now we are going to give Glue permission to access S3. That is basically what we want to do here. So under search permissions, we can search S3 full. So we're giving it full access. Let it read and write in S3. Select next. Role name. Let's see, what's the job name? So okay, sales job. So we could say sales job, sales job role, right? Description, S3 full access, everything in order, then we create the role. So it has been created successfully. Now, if we go back to our job, under roles here, we are going to see, we should see, okay, sales job role. So we're going to select that. Version type Glue, Python, yes. Number of workers. We can reduce this to 5. We're not using much resources here. Okay. Bookmark. Let's leave this first. So I think this should be it. Okay. Then we'll save the sales job. After that, we will save. Let's see. Okay, so the job has been successfully saved. Now, something else that we can do here is at every stage here, we can actually preview what is going on. Since we've already given it an IAM role, under here, we can preview what is happening at every stage. Now, this is the change schema stage. So here, the schema has been changed, and we have this. We have our quantity as int and price as decimal. Then if we go to the next stage, which is to concatenate column, data preview here, and this gives us, hold on, so in the concatenate column, this is what we are going to see. It has added the full name column already. Then after that, the next step is the derived column. The derived column, we should have the total sales. So we can see the total sales already here. Then finally, the drop fields. So here we can now see it has dropped all the 4 fields that we listed, which is the first name, last name, quantity, and price. And at the end of this transformation, this data set, what we see here is what will be loaded in the S3 bucket. So we can test run this by clicking on run. But before we do that, let me confirm that in our inputs. Okay, inputs we still have just one. Then in our process, the process should be empty. So this is empty. Now we can come here. We can manually run the Glue job by clicking on run here. Then under runs, we are going to see if it is running or. So under runs, we can see here that the job is running already. We can refresh the page to see when to know when it ends. In 5 seconds. Okay, still running. What's this? I think we've done this, so we can close this. So we just run it to refresh to know when it stops. Is this still running? Okay, so it has ended, succeeded. So we can now check in this is our process folder to confirm that it's stored data in our process folder. Okay, so we can see here now that it has actually stored the transformed file in the process folder. So we can now query it just like we did the initial one. We can also query that folder here. Now in the initial one, what we queried was the input folder. This time around, we are going to create another table for the processed folder. To create new table, as usual, we'll give it the table name. Let's see, Glue. Let's just give it the table. Okay, Glue sales. Okay. We can use the database that we created initially, that's all sales. Then input of data, here we will now change it. We will now point to processed. So we'll select our processed folder. The file format is in CSV. This gives us the properties. Then column details. I think we have sales ID, or column type is string. Add column. Which other what? Product, I think. Let me be sure. I can't remember what. Okay, products, full name and total sales. So we have products, string. Add another column, full name, string again, add the final column. That's to to sales, and the column type is, this is decimal. So we have that. Then for table properties, here now we will simply tell it that to skip like the first header, that's to skip line 1, not 11. Since our first line is our header, so it will skip line 1, and all others remain constant. So we create the table. What did we call that table? Okay. We already have the table here. The table has already been populated here, so we can easily come here, preview table, and we have our table, just like we got at the end of our transformation. So here, as it is now, we have loaded our data from S3, transformed it using Glue, then queried using Athena. So here we can choose to do any, what's that query? Okay, we've already calculated that. So we can choose any form of query you want to do. You can query your database here, and of course you can save your queries. You can save your queries. So this is how we go from ingestion to saving using S3 for load ingestion, Glue for transformation, and then Athena for the 7 layers. Then last, before, does anyone have any other question? Any question before we continue? Okay, I believe none. Let me see. Okay. So no question. Then what we are going to do next is, now we are going to introduce Lambda. And what Lambda will do now is, rather than us manually coming here to click on run to run the Glue job anytime new data enters our S3 bucket, what Lambda will do is, whenever data enters into our S3 bucket, Lambda is going to trigger this job, and the job is going to run automatically and update in the processed folder. So what we are going to do here now is, we are going to place Lambda in between ingestion and the transformation stage. So once job comes into the S3 bucket, Lambda now informs Glue at the transformation stage that data has come into this S3 bucket, and the Glue job now transforms that data from what we had at the beginning, which is so Lambda, this job now runs on the data from what we have here to perform the various transformations and give us the 4-column data set that we have at the end of this transformation. Now we are going to open Lambda. Okay, so here now, for us to do that, we're going to create what is called a Lambda function. The function is simply to tell Glue to perform a transform to run a certain job once file enters into our S3 bucket. So we're going to give it a name. I love using similar names. So what's this? Okay, sales job. So we're still going to say sales function.
Hello, Ogochukwu. Good evening. Hello, Ogochukwu.
Yeah,
Please, can you hear me?
good evening. Yes.
Yeah, please. I don't know if I can get the attendance for the new students.
Check the link in our group. I think
In
it's
our in our we have like two groups. Is it the general
okay.
one or
Hold
the
on, please. Let me search and send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, please. Please give me a minute. Let me just.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you can get it now.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Ogochukwu.
So, all right. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to give it a name, and the name we're giving it is sales job function, right? We could just leave it like that. Okay, sales job function. Now our runtime here, we're running with Python, so we have to select Python. Python is the language we want to use to write our sales the function. Every other thing will be the same while we create the function. Yeah, just miss. Okay, so we have successfully created the function. Now, like we were saying earlier, what do we want? The glue job. It triggers the glue job and the glue job. So add a trigger here, and our source file is S3 buckets because that is where we want to focus on. Now, which buckets are we looking at? We are working with sales demo book. The events the event type is now the event type we're going to pick is put here. What it does is when data is added when data is uploaded or added into a certain the specified folder, so we're going to use the put event. Then for prefix, now this is where we're going to specify the exact folder. Now here we just gave the bucket, but we do not want it to scan the whole bucket always for new file. We're looking at a specific folder. So the specific folder we're looking at is the input folder, I believe. So the specific folder we're looking at is the input folder. So in our prefix, we're going to put input and give it that. Then suffix is the end. We want it to look at only CSV files. So for our suffix, we simply add .csv. So we need only CSV files. So whenever CSV files are loaded into this folder, the glue job should be triggered. We accept this and add. Now, after that, now under configuration, we need to also create role for this lambda function. Now, and we are going to do that again in IAM. So we can easily go here to help us do it straight in our IAM console. Now, like I said earlier, this glue job is in between S3 bucket and AWS Glue. So we're going to give it permission to access S3 bucket and also to access AWS Glue. So what we're going to do is we're going to add permissions for S3 and Glue, because looking at it, it has only the default Lambda, custom Lambda permissions. So we need to add that of S3 and Glue. So we can come here and search for S3 full access. Yeah. Add permission. Oof. Okay. We can also search for Glue. So we need Glue full access. Okay, we have access. Add permission. So with these two we have added now, this function now has access to both S3 and AWS Glue, because from our workflow, it is sitting in between these two services. So we can close this and go back to our function. So we could refresh. Of course, the permission has been added to the function. Then next, we'll now come to code. And this is where we now tell the function Lambda function, we are going to direct it to the glue job that it is going to trigger. While it's loading, let's hold on, it's loading. Okay, so okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to write the function, the Lambda function that will just trigger, that will simply call the glue job. Now what we're going to use is the Python boto3 library, and all our functions that we're going to write it inside here that is written to do or implement. This is where we're basically going to write everything that we want to write. So we can, now what we want is we want this function to call a glue job. So delete this. Do we need JSON? We don't need this. So no. Okay, let's just. So we're going to import the Boto3 library. Then next, we're going to use the Boto3 client to specify the service that we are running. And the service that we want is the glue service. So we'll say glue equals, it's already there, sir. Boto3 clients dot glue. So this tells it that we we want the glue service. Then after that, we'll now use, everything has even been done for us. So we already have all of this here. So we have glue dot start job run. Start job run tells, let me use tab to complete all of this. So start job run is simply a method that specifies the glue job we want to run. But what the glue job is, let me see. I think it's sales job, not sales job function. Yeah, it's sales job. So we just have to edit this. So sales job. And that is it. You don't need all of this. Okay. So this tells us that when this lambda is triggered, just go to glue and start the sales job, and then we will deploy. Let's see, is it okay? Updating function. It has successfully been deployed. So now we can test this by uploading a file in our input bucket. Then we'll see if a run job, if this glue job is initiated. For now, we have just one run. So we'll come into our sales demo bucket. We're going to impute and upload another file and see, add file. Let's just go like that. So that's all right. It has successfully uploaded. Then let's see the glue job, if it has initiated. If it doesn't, that means we missed something. But if it does, then it means everything is it is running. So we can see now that as the file was uploaded into our bucket, glue lambda triggered this glue job, and now this glue job is running. So at the end of this, it is going to store in the processed folder as we indicated earlier. So let's see. Still running. Okay, let me check our processed folder. Let's see what we have there. Okay, we have 3, so it should have stopped running by now. Okay, we can see succeeded. So that's why we have 3 files in our processed folder. So if we upload any file right now in the input bucket, it triggers the Lambda that we have written. Then this Glue job processes that file and stores it in the processed folder. And since we already have the processed folder linked to Athena, we can easily come here and query the entire, because it's been updated immediately it comes in. So we can come here and query this the table, that which is the Glue sales table. So we can still run this one, we'll get the same results. Okay, so we can run it as many times as we can. So let's see. Okay, I've noticed something else here, but let me hold on first. Does anyone have any question from what we've done so far? We're about to almost time.
Sorry, please. I think I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, I want to confirm the data set you just uploaded now. Does it have the same column names with the first one? The sales data you uploaded?
Yes, that was what I showed. Yes, it's the same.
It must have the same columns.
Yes, they are the same thing.
Okay. Is it a must or you just did it like that?
No, it's not a must. It's not a must. Like,
okay.
You know, if you
Your voice is not cracking. Is it from here? I can't hear you.
say I hope you can hear me now.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So my screen is not even showing. Okay, so like I was saying, now it's simply because we are doing the same transformation on that data set. That's why everything is the same. If they are different, of course, if you're doing a different transformation, it's always best to upload it in like a different folder, so that that transformation can run on that folder. But since we're running the same transformation on these files, that's why we used the same file. So we'll just run the same transformation on the file.
I think I got it. Thank you very much.
Did you hear me clearly?
I said I got it. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
okay. All right. Uh, shoot. Okay, so come in. Let me end this. Okay, so now after that, I noticed something again, and that's what I want us to just correct before we continue, before we call it a day. It's almost time up already. So please hold on, let me rejoin here. Um, when, um, oh, looks like my network is getting worse now. Okay, so all right, so let me just quickly correct this. I noticed something and I would like us to correct it before we go. Um, okay, so while we did that, I noticed something again, and I just want us to correct that before we go. Now, in our let me reopen another bucket. Now, if we notice that in our input bucket here, we have where is it? Okay, so in our input bucket here, we have two files, but when we go to our process bucket, we have a process folder, we have three. Now, looking at it, I just realized that there is an error somewhere, and there is something we omitted, and we're going to correct that. So, I'm going to show. Let's see the implication of what we have just done. Now, in our query, we're going to run. We're going to count the number of what we have. Count. Okay. Now, in our data set, the sales ID is actually is unique. That's the only column that is unique. So that's like the primary key. So we're going to count using the primary key. So that's sales ID. So we're counting sales ID where from Glue sales job. Okay, Glue sales table. Okay. Let's just run this. Okay, now we can see we have 28, 28, uh, 28 records. That's 28 rows on this glue sales table. Now let's run our glue job again. Let me see. Let's upload another file here, and then we will run. Let's add another file. I think we have 2 there. Let's add 3. Okay, let's see this. Okay, it is running. Now, while this is running, let's where is that? Okay, so we have 28. We have 28 columns already. We have 28 columns, 28 rows, sorry. Then let's count distinct, because I know that's where this thing is. Mhm. 29. No, looks like this thing is giving us 29. Let me see if this has finished running, so it doesn't affect. Yeah, let's finish it. Okay. Okay, it has finished running. Now, let's see how many files we have now in our process folder. We just refresh and see how many we have. So we had 3 previously, and now we have how many? Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. Let's run this query. Let's run this and see what it gives us. So we have 57 rows, 57 records. Then distinct, we have 57 records there, and we have 29 distinct records. Now this is what I observed. And so what this means is, if we continue running our job like that, we're going to keep getting duplicates. That's the problem that we're going to have here, and that is not ideal. Of course, we know the impact of duplicate documents, duplicate records on our pipeline. So as it is right now, our our the tables on our 7 layer is filled with duplicates now, and that's like double the exact data we need. So I observed that, because I know we're supposed to have just 3 columns, three files here rather than 6. So what we did here is, in job details, there was something we did not enable, and that is, let me see, job bookmark. Now I'm just going to go straight and save this. Now, looking at it here, we can see that this is disabled. The job bookmark here is disabled. What this does is that in the folder, in our input folder, it checks the folder. Whenever this glue job runs on the folder, it places a bookmark on the files that it has run, the files that it has processed previously. It places a bookmark on them so that when next it comes to search that folder, it does not run the files that it has bookmarked already. But since we disabled it, there is nothing like bookmark. So whenever it comes to run, whenever the job runs on that input folder, it runs the entire contents of that folder all over. So what it does is when we had just one file there, the job was triggered and it ran on just that one file. When we added the second file, it went back to the folder, and instead of running on just that second file, it ran on both the second and the first one, giving us 2 + 1, that is 3. And when we added the third one, the same thing happened. Instead of running on just the new file, it had to run on the 3 files all over again, giving us multiple duplicates. So the number of times we keep running this glue job on that folder, it would continue running on the entire contents of that folder. Now there is another way we can use to solve it, which is we can choose to empty the table before adding new documents, before adding the new processed files. We can choose to empty that the processed folder. We can choose to empty it before adding the new the most recent job run in that folder. But another method we can do is we can simply come here, enable bookmarks, and what glue job does is it runs only on the new files on the input folder. Now, rather than running on all files on that folder, it places bookmarks on the ones it has processed previously, and then runs strictly on the ones that was just uploaded. So we'll just enable that. That's the thing we didn't enable. We're going to enable this, save it, and let us see if it has saved. And before we run, I want to empty. Let me see. Let's empty the processed. Let's empty this. Let's empty this bucket. We have 3 objects already. Let's empty this, and then where is the sales? Okay, we can just delete this one also. So network acting up again. So it's taking too long to delete. Oh, I said it. Oops. Oh. Okay. So it has successfully deleted. What about the other one? Okay, this has also deleted. Am I still in this meeting? Yeah. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, you are very much in the meeting. You can see your screen and hear you clearly.
Okay. Please let me know if you can't see. So I've deleted that, and in our process folder is empty right now. The input should have just.
Okay, your screen has gone off now.
See now. Okay, thank you. Let me adjust this again. Sorry, I'm trying to rejoin here. Okay, looks like it's coming on. Okay. Sushi. Okay. So I'm trying to rejoin here. How come? Because it's coming on. Okay, so I think we're back. Can you see my screen now, please?
It's not up.
Okay. Please be patient. This is just what's holding me here right now. So while we're waiting for this to rejoin, and I just take care of that error, does anyone have any comments, any question, anything while we're waiting for this to come up?
So sorry, I just want to. It's not a question about this topic. It's just
Okay.
about the recordings for the videos, and also Steve promised that he was going to send the link for the previous class. I checked the Discord group. I don't think I saw anything related to that. So just to keep you aware. So that's
okay. So Steve.
Yes,
Steve
yes,
is here.
yes. I'm here.
What's holding our recording, please?
Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Yeah, you were asking a question.
Marvelous made a comment. You made a promise last week and you're yet to fulfill it.
Oh, okay. I have the recordings. They are in WebM format, so I'll what am I going to? I will use Handbrake to convert it and send it on Fairly Link today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Rex.
Yeah.
Why is this failing to connect? I don't understand this thing. All right.
thank you.
So
Also recordings for the video. Sorry, I think I made a comment. The recordings on the classes. So,
yeah, this one, I know this one is definitely being recorded. I I think that of last week was recorded.
Yes,
Yes, I
I think
think it
last
was.
week and last 2 week was. So I think you'll see it on the YouTube platform.
So when you check our YouTube, the page, AI Community Africa, the recordings should be there. This is also being recorded. So during the week, this one will be available. But all previous ones are already on the YouTube page. All right, thank you. Okay, I think this is going wrong. I'm so sorry. I don't like going beyond 8 p.m. Seriously. So I'm sorry to keep you all here. This should not take us 5 minutes now. I hope my screen. Okay, can't see my screen. Can you see my screen now? I don't understand this network today. Okay, so what I think is fun. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just be done with this before it starts again. Okay, so now like we saw in the ways that in our query, so we saw that we had 29 distinct columns and I think 50 something columns records in total, while we had 29 records, 29 distinct or unique records, but 59 total records, giving us about 28 duplicates. That's double what we have there. So what's like, where is that in the Glue job? Okay, we failed to enable the job bookmark. Now that has been enabled, we'll now run this job on the input folder and see if it solves our problem. So I just started a job run now. I did that manually. Let's see first of all with the CSV file. We have just one left in the demo. So we have just this. So let's see first of all with that. Where is that? Okay, it's running. So let's see if how that's enabling just the job bookmarks. Let's see how that will help us. Still running. Let's see if it is. And the process. sort to have completed. So thinking my network here is the issue. Sort to have ended. Okay, so I'm going to say this is actually my network issue here because I don't know why this is still rolling at this time. It's also completed running. I don't even see anything. Okay. So it looks like this network is going to disappoint us. So based on my explanation, could you mute your mic, please? Okay, thank you. So based on what I explained, this sort of ended. So based on my explanation, it was simply that we failed to enable the job bookmarks. That's why we're getting duplicates, and that's why when the job runs, it runs on the entire files in that folder, the entire files in that folder, and not only on the one that was just added. So I think we can actually practice this one on our own if we're going to keep getting this. We can't keep waiting till eternity. But at this point, I believe it has stopped running. The run has ended, and we should be getting just one file in our processed folder, but nothing is coming up. So it was just that we didn't enable job bookmarks. So with that enabled now, what it simply does is anytime any file is uploaded, any CSV file now, because we added the CSV suffix. So anytime a CSV file is added into that the input folder, the Lambda triggers the glue job, and the job is executed only on that new file. And the job is executed only on that new file that was put in the input folder. And at the end, it stores that after the transformation, it stores it in the processed folder. So that is what we have for today. This one is a serial error. So that's basically what we have for today. I wanted us to just see how that enabling the job bookmarks actually solved the duplication error. But since we can't get to see that, I think you can work on that yourself. It's just to enable it, disable it, enable it, and see the difference and how it works well to remove duplicates in after our transformations. So this is basically what we have for today. If anybody has any other question or any comments, this one has gone. So if anyone has any question or comments, let's hear it, please. Before we call it a day. I think we've done it. Okay. So looks like we have no question and no comment. Uh really don't like exceeding 8 p.m. and I want to apologize for taking your additional 26 minutes. Uh so if we have no questions, I think we'll have to call it a day, Yabi. Then I also want to add that we have started PySpark already this week. Okay, last week. So we're already working on PySpark and the courses has been assigned. We've assigned first 2 courses last week. That should be ending today or tomorrow. So we're going to continue with PySpark. Our next session is going to be, as usual, today's session was just the one-off session. So our sessions will continue on the last Saturday of every month. So our next session is going to be on the 30th, of May, and in that class we are going to look at PySpark. In that class, we are going to look at PySpark and see how we can use PySpark for big data rather than using pandas. We'll see how PySpark works well for big data and how we can use it in building our pipelines. So this time around, we're looking at file size and the velocity of a file and how PySpark can easily help us solve issues concerning or run jobs concerning big heavy jobs using in data engineering. So that's what we'll be doing in our next session. That will be on the 30th of May. So I want to apologize once again and say thank you for your attendance this evening. And I hope that we are actively learning on data camp. I hope we are, thank you very much. I hope we are still actively learning on data camp. You know why I'm asking this? Please, if you're behind, try as much as possible to see how you can meet up between now and uh, our next session. Now, initially our plan was to give out projects at the end of every session, but I actually looked at it in a different way, and I looked at, let's have just one cumulative project at the end of all our sessions. So at the end of that will be after our data bricks. Yes, after PySpark, we're moving to data bricks. So after our data bricks class, that's when the project is going to come in. And now in that project, you're going to choose the technologies that you use, the tools that you're going to use, and it has to be the ones that we have looked at. It would be, you can use AWS, PySpark, Databricks. The choice will be yours to decide on the tool that you use that best suits the data set you want to work with for the project. So that's just to give us a heads up on what's coming. So thank you very much for your presence in today's session, and I want to say happy weekend to everybody. Thank you for your presence, and if there is no other comments, thank you very much, Steve. If there is no other comments, I think we'll be calling it a night. So good night, everybody.
Hey, good night, guys.
Nice.